While the West treats self-care as an expensive luxury, spas, retreats, wellness products that cost hundreds of dollars, the Japanese practice something completely different. For them, self-care is not a special event. It's not something you schedule on your calendar or buy with a credit card. It's something woven into the fabric of daily life, as natural as breathing. These rituals were passed from grandparents to parents, from parents to children for centuries. Some come from Zen temples, others from samurai traditions, and some are folk wisdom that ordinary families have followed for generations. What makes these habits different from modern self-care trends? They are simple, sustainable, and completely free. You don't need expensive products, special equipment, or to go anywhere. Today I'm going to share 20 Japanese self-care habits that helped generations find balance, inner peace, and vitality. And that can transform your life too. Let's begin with number 20. Thunder 20. Hara, the center of power. In Japanese culture, the hara, the lower abdominal region, is considered the center of the body and the seat of personal power. This is very different from the West, which locates the self in the head or brain. For the Japanese, a person with strong hara has courage, stability, and calm under pressure. Someone with weak hara becomes easily destabilized and cannot maintain serenity. Caring for the hara is essential in Japanese self-care. This includes keeping the belly warm, breathing deeply while expanding the lower abdomen, and maintaining good posture that allows energy to flow through the center of the body. You can develop awareness of the hara by placing your hand on your lower belly several times a day and taking a few deep breaths that expand this area. Over time, you will feel more grounded, centered, and less easily shaken by external events. Your inner balance comes from the center, not from the head. 19. Kotodama, the spirit of words. In Japanese tradition, words carry spiritual power. This belief is called kotodama, which means the soul or spirit that lives inside words. What you say doesn't just describe reality, it helps create reality. This completely changes how you relate to your own speech. If words have power, then speaking negatively about yourself is not just useless, it is harmful. You are using spiritual force against yourself. The practice of kotodama in self-care means paying attention to how you speak, especially about yourself and your life. When you constantly say things like, "I'm so stupid," or "nothing ever works out for me," you are casting a kind of spell that makes these things more real. Instead, practice speaking words that support the life you want to create. This doesn't mean lying or pretending everything is perfect, but choosing words that acknowledge reality while also holding space for possibility and growth. Your words build or destroy. Choose them wisely. The routine, Tenkyo, conscious sunbathing. Tenkyo refers to the sun as a divine presence that observes all our actions. When Japanese parents teach children about Tenkyo, they are helping develop an inner witness that encourages good behavior even when no one is watching. But Tenkyo is also deep self-care. When you live as if your actions are always seen, you naturally begin to treat yourself with more respect. You stop doing things in private that you would be ashamed for others to see. This awareness also connects you to the real sun in the sky. Many Japanese make a point of spending time in sunlight every day, especially in the morning, because the sun regulates sleep cycles, lifts mood, and gives the body the light it needs to function well. It's not about tanning, it's about aligning with the natural rhythm of the day. 15 minutes of morning sun can reset your biological clock, improve your sleep, and naturally raise your energy. The sun is always watching and always healing. 17. Kukinoiri, the air exchange. The first thing many Japanese do every morning is open the windows and let fresh air circulate through the house. This practice is called kukinoiri, which means exchanging the air. During the night, indoor air becomes stale and fills with carbon dioxide from your breathing while accumulating dust and moisture. Starting the day breathing this old air keeps you connected to yesterday's stagnation. When you open the windows and let fresh air in, you're not just ventilating the room, you're creating a clear separation between the night that passed and the new day that's beginning. Morning fresh air awakens your senses and tells your body it's time to be alert and alive. This practice takes only a few minutes, but it changes how you feel in the morning. Even in winter, when the air is cold, opening the windows for just a short time refreshes both your home and your mind. Stand near the open window and take several deep breaths. Notice how the sensation is different from the air that was trapped inside all night. New air, new energy, new day. Bite Bufter 16. Morigio, the salt shield. If you visit Japan, you may notice small piles of salt placed near the entrances of homes, shops, and restaurants. This practice is called morigio and has been part of Japanese culture for many centuries. Salt is considered to have purifying properties that ward off negative energy and invite good luck. Placing salt at the entrance creates a barrier that negative influences cannot easily cross. It's a way of protecting the space and everyone inside it. Even if you don't believe in the spiritual aspects, there is value in creating rituals that define your space as safe and protected. The act of placing salt is an intention. You are declaring that this space is cared for and that you are taking responsibility for its energy. You can practice morigio by placing small dishes of natural salt near your entrance and changing them regularly. At the very least, this practice reminds you to pay attention to your home's energy and take active steps to make it peaceful and welcoming. Protection doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's just salt and intention. 15. Ichigo. Ichia, the unique moment. This teaching comes from the Japanese tea ceremony and captures one of the most important principles of Japanese self-care. Ichigo Ichi means one time, one meeting, and reminds us that every moment is unique and unrepeatable. Tea masters understood that each ceremony would never happen in exactly the same way again, because the people, the season, the quality of light, and countless other factors would always be different. So each ceremony was treated as precious and worthy of complete attention. Most people live as if moments are unlimited and repeatable, so they give half attention to what's happening now because they assume there will be more chances later. But life doesn't work that way. Each moment passes and is gone forever. When you practice Ichigo Ichie, you give your full presence to what's happening now. You savor your food completely because that exact meal will never exist again. You listen fully to the person speaking to you because that exact conversation is a once-in-a-lifetime event. There is no replay. There is no second chance for this moment. So be here, completely. This moment will never return. 14. Onkatsu, inner warmth. Japanese culture places great importance on keeping the body warm, especially the core and stomach area. This practice is called onkatsu, which means warming activities. In traditional Japanese thinking, a cold body is more vulnerable to illness and emotional imbalance. When internal organs are warm, digestion works better, circulation improves, and the body can heal and restore itself more effectively. There are many ways to practice onkatsu in daily life. Drinking warm beverages throughout the day instead of cold ones keeps the stomach warm from the inside. Wearing haramaki, a fabric band around the belly, keeps the core warm even when other parts of the body are exposed to cold air. Taking hot baths at night raises body temperature and prepares you for restorative sleep. And eating hot foods more often than cold ones, especially in the morning and evening, helps maintain this internal warmth. If you often feel tired, have digestive issues, or get sick easily, try focusing on keeping your body warmer. Small changes like swapping iced drinks for hot tea can make a noticeable difference over time. Warm body, strong energy. Mufkurstrin 13. Misogi, the water ritual. Water has always held deep meaning in Japanese culture because it's believed to have the power to purify not only the body, but also the mind and spirit. The practice of misogi refers to ritual purification using water. In traditional form, this can mean standing under an icy waterfall while chanting prayers. But in everyday life, misogi can be as simple as washing your hands and face with full attention and intention. When you wash in the morning, don't rush through it as just another task to complete. Instead, feel the water touching your skin and imagine that you're washing away not only dirt, but also any negative energy, worry, or heaviness from the previous day. Let the water carry these things away and leave you feeling clean and renewed. You can practice misogi anytime you wash your hands during the day. Instead of doing it mindlessly, take a moment to feel the water and let it refresh your mind along with your skin. Water purifies, water renews, water releases. Use it consciously. Chapter 12. Shosa, the art of movement. The way you move through the world says something about the state of your mind. Rushed, careless movements reflect a rushed, careless mind, while graceful, intentional movements reflect a calm, centered mind. Shosa refers to the careful attention given to physical movements in traditional Japanese arts like tea ceremony, flower arranging, and martial arts. Every gesture is performed with awareness and beauty, never carelessly. But shosa is not just for formal ceremonies, it can be practiced in every ordinary action of daily life. The way you open a door, how you place a cup, how you fold paper, are all opportunities to practice presence and grace. When you begin paying attention to how you move, your mind becomes calmer because it's focused on the present action instead of racing ahead to the next thing. Your body also begins to move more efficiently because you're not wasting energy on unnecessary tension or awkward movements. Move as if every gesture mattered, because it does. Grace is not luxury, it is presence in motion. But 11. Danshari, the practice of letting go. Danshari is a philosophy of decluttering that goes much deeper than simply organizing your closet. The word combines three concepts: refusing unnecessary things, discarding what no longer serves, and separating from attachment to possessions. Every item you own requires a small amount of your attention and energy, even if you're not consciously aware of it. When you're surrounded by things you don't need or use, you're carrying a burden that weighs on your mind. Danshari teaches you to regularly examine your possessions and release what is no longer necessary. This is not about living with nothing or forcing yourself to get rid of things you love, but honestly asking whether each item adds value to your life or simply takes up space. The practice extends beyond physical objects to other areas of life too. You can apply Danshari to commitments that drain your energy, relationships that no longer serve, and mental habits that keep you stuck. When you let go of what you don't need, you create space for what truly matters. Less weight, more freedom, more life. 10. Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing. In the 1980s, the Japanese government introduced a practice called Shinrin-yoku, which translates to forest bathing. This is not exercise or walking with a destination, but simply being in the presence of trees and allowing the forest atmosphere to envelop you. Spending time among trees reduces stress hormones, lowers blood pressure, and improves immune function. Trees release compounds called phytoncides that our bodies respond to positively. And the sounds, smells, and sights of the forest have a calming effect on the nervous system that cannot be replicated anywhere else. Human beings evolved in nature, surrounded by trees, plants, and flowing water. So our bodies and minds are designed to be in natural environments. When we spend all our time in buildings and cities, we deprive ourselves of something essential. Forest bathing doesn't require remote wilderness. Even a small park with trees can provide benefits. The key is to go slowly, engage your senses, and let the natural environment work on you without trying to accomplish anything else. Leave your phone in your pocket. Don't try to exercise or reach a destination. Simply walk slowly among the trees, noticing what you see, hear, smell, and feel. The forest heals. Let it work. 9. M.A. The necessary empty space. Ma is a Japanese concept that refers to empty space, or pause, including the silence between notes in music, the blank space in a painting, and the pause between words in a conversation. In Western thinking, emptiness is often seen as something to be filled. An empty room needs furniture, an empty schedule needs activities, and an empty moment needs entertainment. But Japanese aesthetics understand that emptiness is not nothing. It is actually a vital presence that gives meaning and form to everything around it. Without silence between notes, music becomes noise. Without space between objects, a room feels oppressive. The same is true for your life and your schedule. If every moment is filled with activity and stimulation, there is no space to breathe, reflect, or allow unexpected things to arise. Practicing Ma means deliberately creating empty spaces in your day. It might mean sitting quietly for a few minutes without picking up your phone, leaving gaps in your calendar that aren't scheduled for anything, or resisting the urge to fill every silence with words. These empty spaces are not wasted time, but necessary pauses that allow you to digest experiences, restore energy, and reconnect with yourself. Emptiness is not absence. It is pure presence. The rate 8. Kodo. Listening to incense. The traditional Japanese art of appreciating incense is called kodo, and the phrase used is not smelling incense, but listening to incense. This choice of words reveals something important about how to approach the practice. Listening suggests receptivity and attention. When you listen to something, you're not grasping or analyzing, but simply open and present, allowing the experience to come to you. This is the appropriate attitude for appreciating incense. You don't need to formally study Kodo to benefit from incense in your self-care practice. Simply choose a natural incense you enjoy and burn it during moments when you want to create a sense of calm or ritual. The aroma becomes an anchor that helps your mind transition into a more peaceful state. Many Japanese burn incense during meditation, before sleep, or when they want to mark a moment as special, because the fragrance transforms ordinary time and space into something lightly sacred. Don't smell, listen. Let the aroma speak to you. Dapan 7. Zazen. Sitting in stillness. Zazen is the seated meditation practice of Zen Buddhism, but it goes beyond ordinary meditation. Zazen is not about achieving a special state or having mystical experiences. It is simply sitting with upright posture, paying attention to the breath and letting thoughts come and go without attaching to them. There is no goal. There is no destination. You just sit. This practice may seem too simple to have real value, but its simplicity is exactly what makes it powerful. In modern life, we are always chasing something: more money, more success, more happiness. Zazen teaches the art of simply being without wanting this moment to be different from what it is. Even 5 minutes of Zazen in the morning can change the quality of your entire day. You don't need a special cushion or meditation room. Just sit with your back straight, eyes gently lowered, breathing naturally. When thoughts arise, and they will, simply notice them and let them pass like clouds in the sky. Don't fight them. Don't follow them. Just return to the breath. Over time, you discover that the stillness you cultivate while sitting begins to permeate the rest of your life. Just sit. Just breathe. Just be. There's 6. Junan. Softening the armor. Throughout the day, most people accumulate tension in their bodies without realizing it. Shoulders rise toward the ears, jaws clench, backs stiffen, until, by the end of the day, the body feels like it's wearing invisible armor that weighs it down and restricts movement. The practice of Junan means softening and becoming flexible. It refers to deliberately releasing this accumulated tension and returning the body to a state of relaxed openness. Samurai warriors understood the importance of Junan because a tense body cannot move quickly or respond to unexpected situations. A soft, flexible body can flow and adapt to anything. You can practice Junan at any moment during the day simply by pausing and noticing where you're holding tension. Then consciously soften those areas. Let your shoulders drop, unclench your jaw, relax your hands if they're gripping tightly, breathe slowly, feeling your body become softer and more open. At night, even 5 minutes of slow, mindful stretching can release whatever tension has built up during the day. Soft body, soft mind. Release the armor. 5. Osoji, the monk's sweep. In Zen temples, young monks spend a significant part of each day cleaning. They sweep floors, wipe surfaces, and tend gardens with the same attention they bring to meditation. That's because cleaning is not seen as separate from spiritual practice. Cleaning is spiritual practice itself. When your environment is cluttered and dirty, your mind tends to feel cluttered and cloudy too. When your space is clean and orderly, your mind naturally becomes clearer and calmer because the outer and inner worlds mirror each other. The act of cleaning itself is also therapeutic. When you sweep the floor with full attention, Your mind focuses on the simple movement of the broom, and worries and mental chatter fade into the background. You enter a state of active meditation without having to sit still. Try approaching your next cleaning task the way a monk would, giving the task your full presence. Notice your body's movements and the gradual transformation of your space, from messy to clean. And let the outer cleaning become inner cleaning too. Cleaning is meditating. Meditating is cleaning. 4. Toji, the healing soak. Japan is a country blessed with thousands of natural hot springs, and the practice of bathing in these waters for health is called toji. For centuries, Japanese people traveled to hot spring towns to soak in mineral-rich waters and recover from illness or exhaustion. But you don't need a natural hot spring to benefit from the healing power of hot water. The Japanese practice of taking a deep hot bath at home every night provides many of the same benefits. Unlike a quick shower that simply cleans the body, a proper Japanese bath is meant to relax and restore. This nightly soak raises your body temperature, which then drops after you leave the bath. This drop in temperature signals to your body that it's time to sleep, making it easier to fall asleep and improving rest quality. The bath is also a transition time between the active day and the restorative night. So, as you sink into the hot water, you let go of the tensions and worries you've been carrying and emerge clean not only physically, but mentally too. Hot water heals. Soak deeply. 3. Ocha no jikan, tea time. In Japan, stopping for tea is not simply drinking a beverage, it's a sacred moment of pause. Ocha no jikan means tea time and represents a deliberate break in the rhythm of the day. When you prepare tea with attention, heating the water to the right temperature, measuring the leaves carefully, letting them steep for the appropriate time, you are creating a small ceremony that anchors you in the present moment. Then, when you hold the warm cup in your hands and sip the tea slowly, you're not just consuming caffeine. You're practicing presence. You're giving yourself permission to simply be, without producing, without achieving, without rushing to the next thing. Many Japanese families have fixed tea times every day, not because they need the drink, but because they need the pause. They need the ritual that says, this moment matters, even if it's only 5 minutes. You can create your own Ocha no Jikan by choosing a specific time each day, perhaps mid-afternoon when energy dips, and making that moment sacred. Prepare the tea carefully, drink slowly, do nothing except be present. Tea is the excuse. The pause is the point. So 2. Gaman, silent strength. Gaman is a concept deeply rooted in Japanese culture that has no perfect direct translation, but means something like dignified perseverance or enduring the unbearable with patience and grace. It's not about suppressing emotions or pretending pain doesn't exist. It's about developing inner strength to face difficulties without falling apart, without constantly complaining, without making your struggle the center of every conversation. Gammon teaches that there is power in enduring quietly and continuing forward even when it's hard, in maintaining composure even when everything inside you wants to collapse. This may seem harsh to modern sensibilities that emphasize constant emotional expression. But there is deep wisdom here. Not every pain needs to be processed publicly. Not every difficulty needs to be turned into a narrative. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply continue, quietly, with dignity, without making a spectacle. Gammon is not about suffering unnecessarily. It's about not letting inevitable life difficulties break you. It's about discovering that you are stronger than you thought. Endure with grace. Persevere with dignity. That is silent strength. Layer 1. Omoyari. Invisible compassion. The final practice may seem different from the others because it's not something you do for yourself. Omoyari means compassion and consideration for others, especially the kind offered quietly without seeking recognition. But Omoyari belongs on a list of self-care practices because caring for others is one of the most powerful ways to care for yourself. When you're focused only on your own needs and problems, your world becomes very small, and your problems feel very large. But when you expand your attention to include the well-being of others, something shifts. Your own difficulties feel smaller by comparison, and you experience a sense of meaning and connection that self-focused activity cannot provide. Omoyari is not about grand gestures or public charity, but about small, everyday acts of consideration that make life easier for the people around you. Holding the door, picking up something someone dropped, listening when someone needs to talk, leaving the kitchen clean for the next person, not making noise when others are sleeping. These small acts of kindness create ripples that extend far beyond the immediate moment. They improve your relationships, strengthen your community, and give you a sense of purpose, essential to well-being. The most complete form of self-care is not withdrawing from others to focus on yourself, but learning to care for yourself and others at the same time, understanding that these two activities support and strengthen each other. Care for others. In caring for them, you heal yourself. These 20 practices are not meant to be adopted all at once. That would be overwhelming and unsustainable. Instead, notice which ones call most strongly to you and start with one or two, letting them become natural parts of your life before adding more. True self-care is not a program or project with a finish line, but a way of living that honors your body, your mind, and your connection with the world around you. These Japanese practices have endured for centuries because they work with human nature instead of against it. They are simple, free, and deeply transformative. I hope you find in them the same peace and balance that generations of Japanese people have discovered. If this video resonated with you, leave your like, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and tell me in the comments which of these practices you'll start first. Thank you for being here. Take good care of yourself the Japanese way.